Hi, and welcome to Geno's Picks. I know we're not in the studio again. Hey, Tristy, as you can tell. But let's get down to business. I have a long overdue shot to my good friend Gino Tallarico during the wild card weekend. We were both 3-1 going into the Packers-Eagles game. He had the Pack, I had the Eagles. We had a side bet, a shot of, delicious Jameson. So here's to you, Gino. Great picks. I look forward to your basketball picks in the upcoming offseason. Let's get to it. I killed it! All right. So now, let's get to Geno's picks. Yeah, I missed Joe too. Joe's been sick. The Super Bowl, people, my first pick. Oh, and before I get to it, 7-4 going in the postseason because we had the over in the Pro Bowl like the rest of America and anyone with an ounce of logic, and that thing's a disaster. I have to get away from it. But 7-4 in the postseason, 64%, making you guys money. Let's make a killing on the Super Bowl. But why do I have all these sheets when there's just one game? What could possibly be bet on other than that? Exactly, everything. So let's go through them. My first pick, the coin toss. You've got to bet on the coin toss, people. You're hammered. You're excited. You can't wait to waste money. So let's get right to it. You got the Packers hosting the Steelers. So the Steelers get to call it. And their captain, the reborn Christian, who wants to be remembered by that, not by raping people like the Sabines, Ben Roethlisberger will call it. And we know one thing. When Ben Roethlisberger heads south, he's looking for one word. And that word is tail. He's going to call tails. Why not go with him? My next pick, you got to bet on it. The national anthem. The over-under on Christina Aguilera singing it is 1:53. But you can't bet enough. So let's bet on this other prop bet they have. How long will Christina Aguilera hold the note brave at the end of the song? The over-under is 6 seconds. People, we've heard Christina Aguilera howl/sing. And let's be honest, if that bitch couldn't scream at the top of her lungs in front of a lot of men for over 6 seconds, she wouldn't even have a record deal, would she? Watch her show off her skills screaming at the top of her lungs while a lot of guys are on there screaming over. People, take the over on Aguilera. Belting out the brave. All right, we'll talk about the game because you people need to bet on on logical shit. All right, so let's get right to it. Who will score the first touchdown of the game? Oh, you got to bet this, people. A lot of great choices here. You got Mendenhall going off at 5-1. You got Greg Jennings going off at 13-2. You got Wallace, the speedster, going off at 15-2. I don't like any of these guys because you've got two tough defenses in this game. They don't give up big bombs of a touchdown, so I think that takes out those fleet receivers. And they don't give up tough yards at the goal line. So the only way to get through the goal line is with a sneaky little play. And who's got the best little guy for that? The Packers do, and John Kuhn going off at 12-1. That guy's strong, people. Take John Kuhn at 12-1. But here's a little warning. If you're betting in the South, make sure you say John Kuhn. Because if you just say that Kuhn guy, you're not getting 12-1. You're getting even money at best. Take John Kuhn, 12-1. My next pick. Who will the MVP of the Super Bowl thank after the game? I love this list. I love it. Let's go over it. Coach, God, family, or teammates. Do you notice the one person that's glaringly missing from that list? Exactly. Father. You know why? Because you've seen these people. And look, they're raised with a lot of different brothers and sisters. And unless they're in church, when these kids say the words, Our Father, they're all talking about a completely different person. But like Our Father the prayer, that man is an absolute mystery. People, when in doubt, go with God. That's who they'll thank. Which brings us to the game. 2 picks, people. The team and the over-under. All right. The Green Bay Packers are giving 2.5 to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the ice storm disaster that is the apocalypse of Dallas. But people, let's look at these two teams. The Steelers are the Steelers. I get it. Tomlin's going for his 6th consecutive postseason win. I get it. Ben Roethlisberger is hard to beat despite his awful passer rating every Super Bowl. I get it. But all that aside, regular season aside, the Pack is simply the best team in football right now. They are. They're coming together. We talked about Rodgers, supported by James Starks and Kuhn now, and with that incredible, healthy defense that was banged up for most of the season. They are the best team in football right now, and they play right now. Well, tomorrow. So, let's face it. I got to go with the Pack because football is like a relationship. It's the one sport where everyone has to play together like the Packers are. We've seen other sports. Hockey, you get a hot goalie, you ride him to the postseason, you win the Stanley Cup even though you barely made the playoffs. What do you do in basketball? You get a bunch of great guys together like the Heat and you have problems. But football is the ultimate team sport. And football is like a relationship, people. It's all about timing and coming together at the end. That said, Take the Packers, people. Lay the 2.5. Ouch. Which brings me to my over-under. The over-under in this game is 44.5. And I think there's one factor you have to look at, and we've been talking about it all week. Marquise Pouncey. There's a reason. Because the center, did you know, in Vegas lingo, is the one player that most affects the spread? Because when you replace that guy, especially 2 days before the Super Bowl, that's going to affect it because the center is the one player, the only player that touches the ball on every single play. And now with this other guy in, what's his name, Legursky, changes everything. Changes the timing. You might have a lot of offsides, or false starts. You might have hesitant players who are afraid to get the jump off the line they're used to. And let's face it, we talked about it. Football's like a relationship. The quarterback is like the chick. They control everything, but let me tell you, neither one is comfortable when they find out 2 days beforehand that a new man is handling their snapper duties. People, look for a very hesitant Pittsburgh Steelers offense. That said, take the under. Those are Geno's picks. Enjoy the Super Bowl. I'll see you sooner than you think.